Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going to break down a tool that promises to take that messy pile of research, all your notes, and those videos you've been meaning to watch, and turn it into a personalized expert you can actually talk to. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? It doesn't matter if you're a student, a pro in your field, or just trying to learn something new. It can seriously feel like you're trying to drink from a fire hose. You're just buried in research papers, articles, hours of video. It is completely overwhelming.
So here's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually cut through all that noise and genuinely understand the material? How do you connect the dots when those dots are scattered across a dozen different files and websites?
Well, it turns out there's a tool from Google called NotebookLM, and it was pretty much built from the ground up to solve this exact problem. It's all about tackling that information overload.
Now, don't think of this as just another chatbot. It's way more like your own personal AI research assistant. And here is the absolute key. It's an expert only on the stuff you give it. This isn't about finding random facts online. It's a tool for real, deep understanding.
And that right there is what really separates NotebookLM from the rest of the pack. See, a general chatbot, it pulls from the entire internet, which means, well, it can sometimes just invent facts. That's the hallucination problem you hear about. But NotebookLM, it's grounded only in your sources. Because you're in control of its knowledge, the answers you get are so much more reliable.
And get this, it can handle a truly massive amount of your information. We're talking up to 25 million words in a single notebook. Just to put that in perspective for you, that's more than 25 times the length of the entire Harry Potter series. That means you can dump in hundreds of interviews, years of reports, your entire personal library, and it can make sense of all of it.
So how do you get started? Well, it all begins with the single most important step: curating your sources. Because with a tool this smart, it really is a simple case of quality in, quality out.
And this quote from one of our sources just hits the nail on the head. You can't just toss in a bunch of random links and expect magic. The real power here comes from being selective, from uploading sources that you've already vetted and that you trust. You're basically building an expert that thinks like you do.
And what's cool is you can build this knowledge base from pretty much anything. The tool is what they call multimodal. It understands all kinds of formats. So yeah, you can upload your PDFs, websites, even YouTube videos, which it automatically transcribes for you, plus your Google Docs, slides, and even audio files like a voice memo you recorded.
Okay, so once your sources are loaded up, this is where the real fun begins. We're going to head over to the Studio panel, which is where NotebookLM takes all that raw information and just transforms it into these incredibly useful new formats. And the workflow is just brilliantly simple. First, you curate your sources. Then, you chat with the AI, ask it questions, dig a little deeper. And then, step 3, you use the Studio to instantly transform all that knowledge into something completely new. For instance, you could take all your sources, let's say it's a dozen super dense earnings reports, and have NotebookLM generate an AI-hosted podcast that just summarizes the key takeaways. It actually creates a conversation between two AI hosts that you can listen to on your way to work.
But it gets even crazier. There's an interactive mode where you can literally interrupt the podcast, like you're calling into a radio show, and ask the AI host a follow-up question in real time. I mean, come on, that is a completely new way to engage with your own research.
And it doesn't just stop at audio. You can also generate an entire explainer video, and it comes complete with an AI host, visuals, and a script, all based on your sources. You can even customize the visual style. Want a classic explainer? You got it. Prefer something more like an anime? It can do that too.
And the versatility here is just incredible. If you're studying, you can generate a study guide for an exam or a timeline from a history book. For work, you can create an instant briefing doc for a new hire, or an FAQ for a big project. You can even get it to create a mind map to visualize how all these complex ideas connect.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what are people actually doing with it out in the real world? Let's look at some of the ways this is way more than just a cool tech demo. As you can see from this chart, the appeal is incredibly broad. Yeah, students are a huge group, but you've also got professionals, researchers, and content creators all finding really powerful ways to use it. And hey, even for personal growth, it's turning out to be a real game changer. Let's get really specific for a second. A student can take their lecture notes and turn them into a practice quiz. A project manager can turn messy meeting transcripts into a clean briefing doc. A financial analyst can take a dozen different reports and get a single, synthesized summary. You could even upload your own journals to find patterns in your own life. And here is a truly powerful use case for business, creating what you could call a business brain.
Just imagine feeding NotebookLM all your company's sales reports, marketing plans, and all that customer feedback. Suddenly, you've created a single expert that any employee can ask questions to and get instant, accurate answers about your business.
So, whether we're talking about a business brain for your company or just a personal research project, what's the big picture here? Why does all of this matter? Well, because NotebookLM really feels like a fundamental shift in how we interact with information itself.
Look, it's not about just fetching facts anymore. This is a tool designed for deep understanding. It's almost like having a personal guidance counselor, one that helps you synthesize everything, connect all the dots, and truly learn in a way that's faster and just better than ever before.
Man, that kind of leaves us with this final thought. Forget about the entire internet for a second. If you had an AI that was an expert on your specific world, your projects, your research, your notes, your life, what would be the very first thing you'd ask it? The possibilities are just endless.